Welcome back to ESG. Today I have an interesting one for you. This is the Roadrunner SE from eMove. And this is kind of the younger, new brother of the Roadrunner and the Roadrunner Pro, which are some of the best seated electric scooters on the market. So this is coming in at $799, which seems like a really good price as long as they didn't cut too many corners. So let's see if it's worth the price and worth considering as a good seated electric scooter option. Let's start the review off with a top speed test. This is a single motor scooter rather than dual motor of the original Roadrunner. So let's see how fast it actually goes. Should have GPS speed up on the screen right now. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Already up to 20, 22, 23, 24 posted speed, 25. We do have a bit of downhill here. Okay, that has leveled out. So that's our top speed right there, whatever it's posting right now. It says 25 on here, so I'm guessing about 22, 23 actual GPS speed. Let's dive into components and features now. There's actually a couple cool things that you get on this version that you don't get on the other two Roadrunner models. So let's take a look at those. As mentioned, this is a single motor scooter, 350 watt nominal, 500 watt peak. But as you saw, it still gets really decent speed and plenty of acceleration considering the price. That's kind of a big theme of this scooter is that, you know, when you compare it to its older brothers, it can be kind of hard to only see the things that it's missing compared to those scooters. But when you start comparing it to other $800 electric scooters like your normal stand-up ones, this actually holds its own really, really well and offers a lot of things that, you know, stand-up scooters at this price don't offer. This is a 36 volt system with a 10.4 amp hour battery. And, you know, as I'll talk about later, one of the big appeals of this is not just, you know, a cheaper alternative to the Roadrunner scooter, but also this is something that has a lot of upgrade paths. So if you want to go from 36 volt to maybe 48 volt or 72 volt, if you want to go up that high, this can do it. You get 14-inch wheels, which are obviously bigger than your average scooter, but are smaller than, you know, your smallest folding e-bikes. They kind of find that middle ground that help you absorb shocks a little better. Adding to the shock absorption is this front suspension fork. You're getting about 30 millimeters of travel, which is not a ton, but as you'll see in the riding section, is very useful actually, and is a difference that you can feel. You know, the difference between a solid fork here and a suspension fork is very noticeable when you're actually sitting on the scooter. I'm glad to see the upgraded seat on here. They didn't go for the old original Roadrunner one. I think this is the exact same one that's on the Roadrunner 2.0 and potentially even the Roadrunner Pro. It is pretty squishy. It's not bad, you know, it's much more comfortable than the old version, but I still do find my butt getting sore after about 30 to 40 minutes of straight riding. I absolutely love this new stem and handlebar setup. This is fully adjustable, so this pole can slide in and out, and you can adjust how tall the handlebars are. You can adjust their, you know, angle away from you. This is a 33.8 millimeter clamp, so you can switch in whatever bars you want, kind of following that theme of customization. Even if you're not going to upgrade the power on this, you can always throw your own handlebars on it. You know, it's such a simple scooter that, you know, taking some things off of it and painting it or sticker bombing it, you know, throwing some really cool bars on it, some really cool grips on it. These are all things that are very easy to do, very possible, and it all starts at such an affordable price. So overall, I'm really happy to see this whole cockpit handlebar stem area be so adjustable and customizable. As far as the cockpit itself, they've kept it very, very simple. So you get, you know, some pretty standard sliding grips. This is one of the first things I would personally change out. It's not that they're bad, it's just that they're kind of boring. You know, it is, you know, the handle that you have to use for your throttle over here. This is a full grip twist throttle. It comes with a very basic keyed display. You get your speed, you get your odometer, your trip distance. It only comes with one button, and all that does is switch between kilometers and miles for your units. So it'll naturally just cycle through all your information here. And then one thing I did notice is that even when the battery's full, it just flashes one battery bar the whole time. You can see on the voltage when it pops up, 36 volts. So I'm at like about half battery right now, but it's still flashing just a single bar, which is a little annoying, but you can use that voltage to track. It'll be 42 at its very highest, and it'll be around 30 when it dies. And then you get some basic buttons. These are the new upgraded buttons rather than kind of the old plasticky ones that you see on older scooters. You get a light, you get turn signals, which is kind of cool to see, and then you get a horn, which is, you know, plenty loud but not too annoying. You get cable-driven disc brakes. You do sometimes see hydraulic brakes starting around this price, but with the speeds you're going, I don't really think you need them. And once they got bedded in, they, you know, felt really good, and I haven't had any problems with them at all. You get these kind of grippy foot pegs. They're a little small. It would have been nice to see maybe, you know, an inch more, but I guess then you start running into the problem of them catching on the ground while you're turning. And overall, you know, even with my big feet, I haven't had any issues. You know, my feet stay on totally fine. And then quickly, just the last few things, you get nice wrapped cords here, which is really great to see. You don't always get, you know, that kind of neatness. Sometimes you get the cords just, you know, spilling out of the handlebars on some scooters. You also get fenders. They are plastic, which in some ways I prefer to metal, just because metal makes a lot of noise when it's kicking up rocks and that kind of stuff. You get a little front headlight. You're obviously going to need a little bit more if you are regularly riding at night. So I'll link my favorite lights down below in the description. And then the battery is keyed, so you know you can't walk away with it. It is a little annoying to have to carry a key for the battery and a key to turn on the scooter. But if you're riding it regularly, you know, you just throw it on your key ring and whatever, and you're fine. Let's talk about the actual riding experience now. And I have to say, I was pleasantly surprised when I got on this. I expected it to be slow, you know, especially considering the original Roadrunner and Roadrunner 2.0, they have dual motors, right? So you're fully losing a motor, but this thing, especially considering the price, is quite quick. And the top speed of over 20 miles an hour is something that you don't usually see on regular stand-up scooters until you get to about the, you know, $1,000 to $1,200 range. As I talked about in the features overview, the adjustable handlebars make it so that I can ride a lot more upright, which is what I like for longer rides, but also the times that I want a little bit more of a aggressive, more traditional kind of bike posture, I can put it down really easily, and I can do it on the fly. It's not something that takes more than 30 seconds to stop and adjust. The width of the handlebars as well is super nice, and I feel like I have a ton of control. Overall, I was pleasantly surprised at how comfortable this is. I mean, it kind of has a small, cramped look to it, but it is a very relatively spacious little seated scooter. You know, despite not having front and rear suspension, does really well with most bumps. One thing that did stand out to me right away is how loud this motor is. You know, at the price, you don't expect a super quiet motor, but it is a little whiny. But, you know, it's electric. It's the only noise coming off of this thing, so, you know, it's not the end of the world. This thing's so low to the ground, and the wheels are still small enough that you're getting a lot of, you know, agility, nimbleness. It's really an easy scooter to control and a ton of fun to ride. Okay, let's move to the range test now on our usual range test course here. And this has a 10.4 amp hour battery, 36 volts, and it has a claimed range of 20 miles. Now, typically you're getting about half of claimed range when you're riding in the higher speed mode. This is obviously unlocked all the way up to 20. So I suspect that this will probably only get about 10 miles. However, if it does get to 15, I will be really, really happy. I think the 15-mile range at 20 miles an hour is fantastic at the price, but I'm predicting more like 10, which, to be fair, is kind of on par for what you would expect for the size of the battery and just claimed versus actual range. So I will check back in once we are done with range checks. Okay, we're about 9 miles in, and I'm losing a little bit of my top speed. I've been seeing speeds close to like 22, even on the uphill section. But now it's hovering around 19 miles an hour at its top speed here. Okay, it is slowing down pretty rapidly here. We're getting down to the 30-volt minimum. Yeah, it's gonna die on this slope here. So, it actually did a lot better than I expected. It's looking at 15 and a half according to this. 15 and a half miles, which is not bad at all, but we'll get an official reading when I come to a full stop here. All right, call it right there. Okay, so I said that I'd be happy if it got to 15 miles, and it did 14.7, which I'm really happy with. I honestly thought I'd be dying at about 10, maybe 12. 15 miles is honestly a really reasonable amount of range, especially at this price, and the fact that it can go 22, 23, 24 miles an hour even at certain parts and still get 15 miles of range at this price seems really good. So I actually give it a big thumbs up. I thought this would be one of the weakest parts of it. Just speaking broadly, I think this is a much better alternative to buying a scooter and then buying a seat with it. If you're the type that wants to ride seated, just get something like this, right? Especially at the price. I don't think there's anything on the market that even comes close to this at the price. If you're wanting, you know, a really affordable seated electric scooter. And then there's the whole other side of the coin, which is this is something that can be upgraded, customized, new controller, new battery, upgraded to 72 volt system. Like, there is a ton of upgrades and a lot of paths to make this thing insanely fast and insanely fun. Now, obviously, you're not going to get rear suspension like you would with the Roadrunner Pro. So if you're someone that wants a fast mini motorcycle seated scooter thing like this, then maybe you are better just going straight up to the Roadrunner Pro. But if you're the type that likes to tinker, or maybe you only have $800 now, but you do want to upgrade it in the future, you know, save a little bit, add new parts, that kind of stuff, then this is absolutely a great option. So who is this for? Well, it's obviously for someone that is on a budget. Maybe you really like the way the Roadrunner looks, it has good reviews, but you don't quite have the money to buy the full-fledged Roadrunner, then you absolutely can go with this, and I think you'll be very happy. You'll get the Roadrunner experience. You're only missing really a couple features, a little bit of top speed, you know, maybe a little bit of hill climbing power, but overall you're getting the same experience. The other group this is really good for is someone who wants kind of, you know, an entry-level scooter. They don't need something super fast, and they also want to sit down. Maybe you don't like the idea of having to stand up and ride a scooter. Maybe you need to ride a little bit longer and your legs get sore and you'd rather sit down. Then this is a great option. And like I showed throughout this review, this competes really well with other $800 electric scooters on the market. And then you have the complete other side of the coin, like I mentioned, which is the person that wants to go crazy with upgrades. Maybe you want to, you know, start out small. You want something that is fun, usable right now, but then you have big plans to upgrade it in the future. This is great. This is a ton of fun, and there are a ton of resources out there for how to upgrade one of these things, and it's so easy to work on. I mean, it is such a simple frame. You've got your battery right here. You've got your controller and all your other components under the seat. Very easy to get to, very easy to, you know, wrap your head around and learn how to work on and how to upgrade. So if you like what you see, you can check it out down below in the description. Be sure to use our discount code if you decide to pick one of these up. It supports the channel and we really appreciate it. It's how we can continue to make reviews like this, is, you know, you guys purchasing stuff with our links. So we really appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and remember, stay frosty.